My fingers just hit the string.
So we just had discussed that we had the string crossings from the A string on third finger D to open E, right? And then let's look real quick at the next group of eighth notes. Let's just start first finger on the E string, and let's really hone in and focus on that fourth finger. Practicing this, or just practicing it separately without slurs, will really help develop your pinky going over the fingerboard. So let's do it without slurs for a second. Let's just do, so it's F sharp, G sharp, A, B. Let's do those eighth notes. Ready? No slurs. Ready? Go. Good. Let's try it again. Good. Try not to bend your finger that way. I see the tendency is, right, because that's going to create a lot of tension, and you can't do that. So the help in that is by raising your instrument up a little bit more and making sure that it's really just, it's the bottom of your chin and your head and your shoulder that's holding the instrument. This has nothing to do with it, right? And what I think it is that you might be doing is that if you're holding the instrument with your hand, of course that's going to be tight, right? So this is, the left hand has absolutely no hold on the instrument, right? I think that's partially because part of your shoulder rest. So what I might do, just for the time being, we'll switch shoulder rests if you want to switch real quick.
Sure.
Yep. Here you are.
Thank you.
I could just do it without, so I just, and hopefully if you do acquire a better shoulder rest, I think it will really help your playing on the instrument, so you won't have to worry about holding the instrument up with your hand, right? A lot better, right? Yeah, good. So let's get that. So let's do the F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. F sharp, G sharp, A, and B, right? So let's do separate bows. Ready?
Oops, sorry.
No. So you have a little bit of a tendency to do that again, right? So good, not so bad on this time. If it helps, you might want to bring your elbow and your whole arm around like this, so you don't have to reach with your finger. You're reaching with your arm, right? So it's going to be, right? See how my arm and my hand's compensating, not my finger, right? Right, if you want to bring the arm around a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's also just getting used to the pinky, because that's tending to be the weakest finger. Yeah. Right. Developing on the fingerboard there. Good. So you know what? Let's try the 2 in the slur. And we're going to do the whole measure. We're going to try 2 in each, 2 eighth notes in each slur, and then we're going to take it from the beginning. Okay. So let's try it just from this measure, 2 in a bow, right? And we're starting on B, right? So here we go. Ready, go. Good. So now I'm not going to play. I'm just going to listen, and I'm going to hear it from the beginning of section B. So we're going to hear the first 2 measures there. So we have the slurring 4, and we have the slurring 2 in the next measure. Okay, right? So really work on that spacing, have the open hand there, right? And the other tendency is to, whenever you practice this, before you add the slurs, do separate bows, because the eighth notes, you want every finger placement to be even. You don't want something falling behind, such as if you play. You hold one note longer than the other one, and one's faster, right? You want. Practicing with a metronome will also help keep that internal pulse, right? So let's hear it one more time. Let's hear it with the slurs. Great, good. And now we're going on to the next measure. Great. So not so bad, yeah. So I mean, there's definitely a few things to keep in mind. Of course, this is only dealing with the first finger pattern in the major scale and whatnot, but definitely keep all those things in mind. Developing the fourth finger is something you're going to have to do by yourself. you know, with try not to include it. It just so happens to be in this exercise. So without the slurs, you know, practice reaching for the fourth finger. And like I said, you can also do it on lower strings, fourth finger, and checking with an open string, right, to make sure you're in tune, right? So like I said, have that comfortable hand frame. Keep that in mind. So, but other than that, I think your finger patterns are generally pretty good. Definitely test out your fingerboard geography, place down the finger, and ask yourself where it is. You know, I think that's just gonna, you know, help develop a secondary, just like knowledge of, and primary knowledge of knowing where your fingers are and what notes are on the fingerboard, right?
Yeah.
So good. I mean, I definitely see a lot of growth, especially with the bow arm and the bow hand. That's definitely more, it's just putting everything together and thinking about everything. I know it's a lot to think about. So, you know, never be afraid to put the bow down and pluck it out and, you know, and just focus on the left hand. Isolate those things, right? So definitely some things to work on. So you have some slurring, you have your slurring, you have your major and minor arpeggios and finger patterns, and you have yeah, and I think that's about it. So
great,
good work.
All right.